Hello, this is John Piper with the weekend video, and it's Saturday the 30th of May. We're going to start with Bitcoin this morning. Right, we'll discuss the 5 O's up and its various flaws, but I don't want to go through it again. I still think the ABC count here is the most valid count, with the target below 8,000. However, what we're seeing is a little bit more confusing. Let's have a look at the shorter term action. Right, here's a 30-minute chart, so you have a pretty clear corrective A wave coming down to here. Possible 5 going up to there, but there's an overlap between the possible 1 wave and the possible 4 wave. In any case, we've now gone down again. This could be an A, B, C. Now we've got a nice trend channel here, and that could be an ABC B wave. So that would be a B wave of C, so that would lead us to expect another leg down, which would meet my criterion of break below 8,000. That's all fine, but let's go down to even shorter term. Alright, so if we have a look at this 15-minute chart, the low there. So this could be a 1, I mean, okay, again we've got overlap, but there are 5 waves, but there's overlap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wave 2, this is pretty impulsive. I mean, it counts best as a 5, I think, to there, and then another move, and then another 5. So I thought that could be a complete 5 all by itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this could then be an ABC, A, B, C, and then we could actually see the rally I've been looking for. The alternative is, well, there are 2 alternatives, I guess. One is that we see the C wave I'm expecting, which I've been talking about, below 8,000. But I think any move above here, so we see that taken out around 9,650 thereabouts, I would think that would suggest that the new bull run has begun. So we haven't seen that yet, and obviously 10,000 is pretty close to that. 10,000 is a key level, but 9,600 would be an early warning that we're going above 10,000. So my preferred count is still move below 8,000, but I'm less certain of that now, and I think that we could, in fact, blip up above here first, perhaps, and possibly then see a correction, or then perhaps just keep on going. There's certainly a lot of positive. I think there's a very positive sentiment building in this market. Big expectation of seeing these solid moves we're expecting. I think the altcoins might well outperform in this rally. So there's a case for diversifying. If you're top heavy on Bitcoin, you may want to think about diversifying a bit, or just adding cash into this rally, maybe with fairly tight stops. Get out if it does something, your predefined levels, and put that into some altcoins. I mean, I've been listening to Chico Crypto this morning, doing some research. I mean, Chainlink's one of his favourite ones. Unibright I've mentioned before. Tezos I mentioned before. EWT sounds good, actually. A major project he covered today, in fact. There's a few other ones. I mean, those of you interested in crypto, feel free to get in touch if you'd like to discuss that. Alright, on to Ethereum. Right, if we look at Ethereum, we can see that it's already shooting ahead at the 237 now, so it has taken out the equivalent level quite convincingly. And we have this really soppy move for 5 wave advance to here. Again, we haven't got the C wave coming, we've instead gone higher. This looks pretty positive to me. It does suggest Bitcoin may well do the same. So I think the market might trick us here by not completing the ABC and just going up regardless, which of course it's free to do. It can do whatever it likes. There's a lot of positives in the market at the moment, really, suggesting this is going to be a substantial move ahead. And I think Adam agrees, as you probably just heard. Alright, gold. I mean, gold is also in a situation where a lot of positives at the moment. Although, of course, it may be overdone. And the problem with positives are they get to a point where everybody's bought, and then it has to go down and shake people out. Bitcoin's been through that shakeout quite dramatically ever since 2017. So we've had a couple of years, really, more than a couple of years of a shakeout. 2018. Anyway, so we've got 5 O's up. We've got this corrective move down to there, but a decent spike below 1700 is encouraging. Having said that, there's also an ABC form here, A, B, C. So it depends what happens next, really. But if long, I would certainly put stops below there at the moment. Right, silver still looks better in the sense we got this possible 1, 2, and a continuing third wave which goes up. So I think support below 17 is fairly important here. So again, there's a big level for stops really. But silver's looking good, and gold may well follow suit if that's what happens. Right, onto the equities. FTSE. So we had a big collapse, obviously down 37%. This all looks like some kind of correction. I mean, the pattern's a bit unclear. Maybe it's an A, B, C, a sort of flat type correction. So the key thing is what's happened since this move here. I did say last week that 6150 was a key level, a major decision point. So we did break above it. Let's get down on leg first. Right, here's a 5-minute. So we blipped up briefly above it for a day or so. In terms, it can be what I'm looking for. This a day or so is not going to be too significant. Possible 1 down here, possible 2. This could be a 3. We saw acceleration going to the close yesterday. This could be the start of the move I've been talking about. I think it will continue next week in that case. It's not guaranteed. It could be a corrective move, but certainly the pattern of this wave here, could determine the future of this market for maybe a few months to come. If it is the start of a major decline, then that would be very significant. If it's a correction, then again we bounce up again, then that could continue for a while as well. So I would have thought, given the economic situation, that we're going to fall away really. I mean, okay, the governments are pumping in the cash, and this will eventually feed through into much lower values for the dollar, sterling, etc. And the fiat currencies always go to money heaven, and that's where they're headed. Or money hell, perhaps I should say, I don't know. So you're talking about mini pounds, as I mentioned before, and of course in mini pounds the index could be at a higher level, but of course worth less, but that gets a bit confusing. But certainly this is a possible reversal pattern in the making. And I think Monday could be an important trading day, and I'll be looking to add 2 shorts going certainly on the day, using one of these techniques where you see an important low, put stops below the low, and then watch what happens and bail out quickly if it doesn't go. However, looking at the DAX, this looks like a pretty corrective move. Hard to count any other way really. A, B, C, B maybe, and just did this on really. Also a pretty good buying response for the double bottom there near the close. So a far less clear path suggesting, against from FTSE, that would obviously confirm that. And that so far, FTSE is suggesting an ABC with weakness at the close. The Dow still is a bit sort of between the two. In terms of, we call that the peak, so a failure of a top. Could be a 1, 2. Got 5 waves down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty clear sort of corrective 4th wave, and then a wave 5. And this could be an ABC, very sharp ABC. So the action on Monday is going to be interesting. Put the fibs on the chart, so we count this as a 5. Then we're just between the 50% and the 61.8% level. So there's no sign of a reverse, obviously. Have to wait and see how this develops. But I mean, as usual, the equities are far more difficult to call really than things like gold and silver and the cryptos, which are slightly more basic trading. Not saying they're easy, by the way, but the equities can be particularly confused, I think. Anyway, I think we can see a big move. Just I'm not quite sure which way it's going to come in at this point in time. Well, that's the report, but we have got a following. Right, I'm now repeating a recording I did during the week about the effect an addiction to risk could have on your trading. Something I should have thought about when I was writing The Way to Trade, in fact. Some of you will have already heard this, but otherwise stay on the call, as it were, and you'll get that segment. Okay, one final item, and that is World Markets. I mentioned this before. It's a site you can put money down. I put down €5,000. I'm now up over 10% in about 3 weeks, I think. So it's in the too good to be true category, which is why I'm not recommending it to anybody else. It's a matter of personal decisions. But But I'm looking at the trades, and they all work. They all pan out. All the ones I've checked pan. Sorry, my 2-year-old just made an unexpected entrance into the room, so I had to pause for breath. And you may have heard him in the video. Apologies for that. He likes to make himself heard, I think. Anyway, the point I'm making is that all the trades I've checked work out. Now, if all the trades work out, which they have done so far, i.e. if they show a loss, that's valid. If they're showing a profit, that's valid. Now, that seems quite strong to me in the sense that if they're actually calling the markets correctly, why would they not be trading them? I've checked about 10 trades so far, I think, and all the profits and losses worked out. I even traded one of them and made money on it. So I'm becoming sort of more convinced by it, but there's still this big question of doubt in the whole thing. So I think probably as a trader and being drawn to the markets, I may have a sort of affinity or even an addiction to risk. I'm just wondering whether all traders have this as part of their personality. And that's why we get involved with the markets, perhaps. And that's one of the things we need to actually deal with to become successful. In fact, something else I should have mentioned in the way to trade. I'm not quite sure whether an addiction to risk is an emotion or an instinct. But maybe something to be aware of. This is actually quite an important point, I think. Because if you are addicted to risk, in a sense, then you could be taking trades just to feed your addiction. Anyways, it's just something I wanted to talk about. My strategy, I've worked out a strategy with this website, World Markets. I mean, it's been doubling money every 4 to 5 months, which, as you know, is too good to be true. But all the verification I've done has worked out. Not that I'm recommending it at all, because there are question marks. Nobody's mentioned on the website. If I had this website, I'd be very proud of it. I'd think, look, if I did this, and nobody's doing that, so that's a bit strange. Maybe there are tax reasons, maybe they wish to be anonymous for some reason. I don't know, but there's none of that. So that's one warning sign, I think. I've asked people to track it down. There's no real address on the thing. You can phone people. So there are these warning signs, but the trades are working out. But I cannot recommend it because you've got to make up your own mind about this kind of thing. But my strategy, I think, I put in €5,000, as you can see. It's in dollars at the moment, but I actually I think of it in euros. So I think I put in 5.2 in fact, and then they've now made €600. So that's an incredible return in a few weeks. So my strategy is put in another 5,000. I'm hesitating on this at this point. Within 5-6 months, it should be 20,000 if this continues to perform, and it may just vanish, of course. From that point on, I should have 20,000. I'll start taking out 10% a month. It should still the cash they've got should still grow. Within 5 months after that, I'll have repaid the 10,000 I put in. So my risk is, does it last for a year? Now, okay, it's only money I can afford to lose, and never do more than you can afford to lose, something like this. Anyway, that's my bet. I've got 5,000. I may actually leave the 5,000. I haven't decided yet, but I suspect in a moment of weakness I might just stick in the other 5,000 and follow this strategy. Anyway, but the point I want to make was this point about an addiction to risk, because that could easily sway. I think any addiction, even of the mildest sort, could you might find yourself just taking a trade at the drop of a hat, and of course some of those traders will win to reinforce that. Anyway, that's the main point. So I hope you find it interesting and useful.